These guys from a podcast called This Podcast is Making Me Thursday want to talk to you. And I think and I said, you don't have to tell me what it's about. I said, if it's called This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, you definitely don't need to tell me what it's about. And I'm going on. This is what I want to do.
It's a Seinfeld podcast. It's called This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty. But I thought, this is what a podcast should be.
I just did the Seinfeld guys pod the other day. It came up.
These pretzels are making me thirsty.
Oh,
that one. Shout out. We've done it. I've done it. Have you did it?
I've not gotten a chance to do it yet. I'm looking forward to it.
It's so fun. They're so fun.
When I don't know, it must have shown up in my feed, but I see these guys tweeting about Seinfeld. I'm like, oh, what's this? And I find it's a podcast called This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty.
One of the most popular Seinfeld podcasts is This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, co-hosted by Chris O'Hara and Tony Chulo.
Welcome to This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is 2 Up and 2 Down. Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
All right, welcome back, Thirsty fans. We got another episode of 2 Up and 2 Down, and today we are starting off with the statue from season 2. So, Tony, why don't you start us off here? Give us your first up.
The statue from season 2. We have it right here, an exact replica, thanks to superfan Alien Wrangler. You can get these on his eBay, I believe, or Etsy. I'm sorry, I think it's Etsy. There might be 1 or 2 left. Exact replica made from the original cast. It's perfect, and it's great. Perfect. We'll get there, but hey, foreshadowing a bit. Oh, my notes are blowing.
Doing it live.
Foreshadowing a bit with that. All right, so let's get to it. The statue, Larry Charles, 1991, season 2. This is when we started just getting into the show, right? We're getting this episode 11 or 12, something like this. And it's so many tone setters in this one for me. I got so many ups here to choose from. I don't even know where to start. I got 2 that I love. I feel like O'Hara may not take either of them. So I'm kind of gonna bounce around a bit here. I'm gonna go with the one that may not be as obvious to my co-host here. You might think I'm going somewhere else, but I'm going the Inca Dinka. I mean, an all-timer. This is what the show is all about. They're just kids. At the end of the day, they're just clowns. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how to solve problems. Jerry says, "Let's just solve this like adults." A little Inca Dinka. And then they go back and forth, and then Kramer, I'm in. Okay, yeah, I'm in. No, it's bad. What do you mean it's bad? All of a sudden, now Kramer loses. Let's switch it around, he says. Let's go the other way now. Start with him. Unbelievable. I love how Jerry helps George out in this situation. He knows Kramer doesn't really care, so he knows this means everything to George. So he's just like, I gotta let George win. So when Kramer leaves, Jerry, you owe me for the Inca Dinka there. It's not good. It's good. Unbelievable. So it just sums up how these people are early on for you. You know how they're going to be. It's just comic book, sports, women, and Inca Dinka, odds, evens, you choose, the whole thing there. So there's my first up, the Inca Dinka match to see who gets the statue.
Yeah, definitely a fun scene there. So, deserves an up, I guess. So over to you, Chris. What's your first up?
Yeah, Inca Dinka. It was Inca. Did anyone ever play Inca Dinka? Or
I never played Inca Dinka. I was always a choose you, odds evens, which they also do later on.
Yeah, but Inca Dinka is a real game.
Yeah, it's definitely a real game. I think it's more their generation, probably, is what I'm guessing. I'm thinking, or maybe regional. I'm not sure if that's Larry Charles that, but.
So here we go. All right, the statue, April 11th of 91. As we know, Larry Charles wrote this episode, 23.3 million people. I believe that was a Thursday, actually, because it was they ran it after a Cheers repeat, believe it or not. On ABC was Twin Peaks. Fox had 90210, of course. The CBS ran a show called The Antagonist. I don't really remember. Lauren Holly from Dumb and Dumber fame, right? So there you go. Fun little night on TV that night. And, obviously a Cheers lead-in, even with a repeat in those days, is going to help the ratings. So here we go. I'm going to go. I always enjoyed the scene at Monk's when Jerry meets Ray. Love that. George uses the word pal twice. Love the use of it. Use it myself many times in life. There's nothing really more, I don't know, needling or derogatory than when you call someone pal. It's like you're kind of ready to go. So
You say pal, you're
yeah,
asking for it.
you're asking for it. I'm the judge and jury pal. So he did that, and then he went on to oh, you're Columbia. Let me tell you something, pal. Again, I called the registrar's office, which is pretty funny. I mean, George actually called Columbia University. It's almost like he almost switched places with Ray here, being like Ray seems like a complete bullshitter, and it's funny that George is the one calling someone out for being a liar, which is fascinating. So the whole thing, him behind Jerry at Monk's, hitting the table, egging Jerry on to get to the bottom of this theft was a fascinating scene. So that's my first thumbs up. George, Jerry, Ray at the Monk scene there.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that too. And also, like during that scene, George calls him a wuss. So, that's a couple times throughout Seinfeld that has happened. So, yeah, another great scene. Definitely worthy of an up. We're going to go back to Tony.
Yeah, that's a great one. I had that written down as well. I love George. I'm the judge and the jury, and it's guilty. Unbelievable. I think he calls Jerry a wuss too in that one. I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure a wuss gets thrown out there. Michael Conway, friend of the show. Unbelievable. Listen, my second one then, I'm going to take it this time around. This is Kramer's coming out party. I mean, make love to the wall, pervert. The whole thing there, unbelievable. Easily one of my favorite Kramer moments of all time. His first big moment. Larry Charles mentions this as well. So that's my second up. Is the incredible Kramer come running in, make love to the wall, pervert. I'm a cop. I'm a damn good cop. The whole thing there, unbelievable. Absolutely love it. Second up.
Yeah, terrific scene there with Kramer. Yeah, definitely comes out of his shell in that great scene. So another terrific up. Chris, over to you. What's your second up?
I was going to give friend of the show Michael Conway Ray, but I'm going to throw Rava and Elaine a bone here. The elevator scene, I love kind of where it kicks off and Rava's like, made love on the floor like animals. I don't know. The way she described it, her voice, incredible. And I believe Rava was dating Richard Lewis in real life. I don't know if it was at this point or not, but the whole coincidences dialogue is just classic writing. Incredible job by Charles. That's all coincidence. There is no big coincidence. There's coincidence. There's no small coincidence and big coincidence. There's no degrees of coincidences. Just an incredible use, and not I don't like when they kind of bombard things with a certain word, but it worked here. The coincidence word, which they went, I think there was about 18 or so mentions of it, was just done to perfection. So, and I loved how the elevator closed and the smoking, the whole thing, even the guy in the background yelling at Rava was fantastic. And then obviously, it all went to shit for Elaine there, obviously, early on. With Lippman, right? And I believe this was the first, this might have been the first mention of Lippman. Elaine mentions Lippman. Oh yeah, he's the editor-in-chief. So we got a little sneak peek of Lippman as well. So good to hear. But long story short, the second up is definitely the Rava-Elaine dynamic in the elevator. Just incredible scene.
Yeah, not only that, Rava was a great character too. So it's she fits in with the New York vibe. Same with Ray. So two great guest characters in this, and so definitely I agree with everything you just said there for ups on that. Tony, are you ready to go with our first down?
I may have to go inside. I'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rava, unbelievable. I had it written down as well. I think you're right about the Richard Lewis thing as well. I think she was unbelievable. Great Larry Charles character and everything she said. I hope he's dead or whatever. I think maybe he died, and then the whole thing with. Anyway, love Rava. Listen, I wrote down on my notes here. couldn't find it down. I mean, this is one of the episodes when I just could not find it down. I mean, are you kidding me? It's flawless. I mean, even Elaine with Rava, you just mentioned, great. I gave Kramer the up. It's one of Kramer's best episodes. It's coming out party. You gave George the up. I mean, can't go wrong with Jerry. What are we doing here? I couldn't find any downs. I went with something silly here because I just really couldn't find any downs. I'm going with Jerry's opening stand-up at the Publishers Clearinghouse bit. Never liked that Publishers Clearinghouse stand-up. That's what he uses. I'm telling you, I got nothing in the episode, folks. That's what I'm going with. Jerry's first Publishers Clearinghouse stand-up is my first very small down.
All right, thank you, Tony. So, Chris, over to you. What do you have for your second down?
Well, listen, we know Tony's got a really. I think your season 2 might be his favorite season. From the pen to the jacket, he puts these all together. The statue. We all know where he's going. But listen, as an analyst, there's downs here, folks. Now, some are nitpicky. I'll give you that. But I'll tell you this: what I didn't like and this is very unlike Larry Charles. Okay, folks, shouldn't you be on a ledge somewhere? Like that line twice. It was almost like I don't know. Twice they use it. Obviously, once with Jerry and then once with Elaine. Like I get it, but like I don't know. It just didn't. It was a little like corny, a little sitcom-y, and a little gimmicky, almost a little Melman-esque, if you will, early on. So it just, listen, great episode, but there are some downs, and that's one that just popped out. I'm like, God, they're using that line again. So that one just didn't sit perfectly well with me, especially coming from Charles. So again, tough but fair here. But that's my first down.
Yeah, I'll agree with that because I remember, when Jerry said it to Ray, and I'm like, it makes no sense. I didn't get it. I didn't know, like when it was said to Rava, like I figured like out on a ledge like a gargoyle. She's so terrible or something. But with Ray, I didn't get it. So I agree that should be a down. So Tony, over to you. What's your second down?
Yeah, they're saying that because they're so depressed all the time. So like they're going to jump off a ledge and kill themselves. I think is the point I got, and I get that.
Ray.
Well, that's the point I think O'Hara's making. Maybe they used it kind of twice to be funny in those two different spots.
I don't mind the killing themselves bit of it. It's the gimmicky part.
The overkill. Yeah, the gimmicky, and that leads me to my second down actually. And I think what happened. This is my guess is. Early on, they might have still had the networks in their ear saying, they had to make it sitcom because a lot of the ending Subway has sitcom ending. I always say, like, as much as I love seasons 2 and 3, there are some gimmicky stuff. And my second down is also very nitpicky as well. I said I didn't have much here. It's similar to that one, though, because to me, it's also one of those things they kind of threw in there as a sitcom joke. When George says, students can't clean, it's an anathema. I can't even say the word. And George's like, how long do you wait to stick that into a conversation? Like, that's a real sitcom joke, using the big word and then they get the punchline. That's kind of a gimmick line, if you will. That's really all I had as far as those lines went and this episode went. So that's my second down is the George big word cramming, if you will.
Yeah, no, I can see your point there too, and it kind of bothered me too that little scene. So all right, I'll take that as a down. Chris, over to you. What's your second down?
I tell you, my partner, I'm a little off tonight. His analyst hat, they must have left that somewhere else. He's giving this whole one a pass. I won't do that, folks. I won't do that here. Now, here's the thing. It's an interesting episode. We'll get into it in the grades. Like for every high up, we've been giving this couple downs. But you know what? I'm gonna go George. I did give him an up with the pal stuff, but I needed as Tony says a lot. He always needs a little more Kramer. I need a little more George in this episode. All right. Oh, my parents when I was 10. Singing MacArthur Park. Thought that was kind of stupid. Like that's more like Jason Alexander, not George Costanza. Right? I could see Jason Alexander singing, not George. And you're going to tell me Master of the House, him singing. I get it. But as a 10-year-old kid, him singing MacArthur Park, I don't buy it. That's number one. And number two, outside of that scene where he's yelling at Ray, where's George? Where's George? Needed a little more, okay? Now, there weren't many, I mentioned a little down at MacArthur Park, and him on the phone with his mom. Again, there's no introduction. It was just all okay. Seasons 2 through 5, I need more than okay from George Costanza. I need a little more. So for me, I just need a little more George. And again, the dynamics of the show, there's only 2 guest stars, really, and they were kind of together for majority of it to some degree. So there was opportunity there for him. And I didn't get it. So a little more George, my second down.
Okay, yeah, very good. So that's going to be the ups and the downs. So, Tony, why don't you give us your final thoughts here and wrap up the statue for us?
Yeah, how hitting season 2 and Larry Charles hard right now. Not enough. Johnny the Palace. That's a big chunk of the episode there. You got the Inca Dinka stuff. I don't know. Listen, he's right. I'm a sucker for season 2. This is right up there for me. This is a top 25 episode. Anyway, you slice it, probably even top 10. You ask me on a different day. I mean, we didn't even get to some of the stuff. One of my favorite lines of all time, I use this, every other day. Ma, I told you, just dip the bread in the batter, put it in the pan. My mother forgot how to make French toast. Incredible. Love Michael Conway. George at the end, more cynical, more jaded. That's great. George at the end. He's all mad, and Jerry, in the next world, maybe he'll be a recipient of harsher justice. Jerry being the everything works out in the end kind of guy. I mean, this is just packed with foundational stuff. As I mentioned, it's Kramer's, breakout episode, purposely by Larry Charles, as we find out. It's an unbelievable Kramer scene. Yes, maybe not enough. George wasn't steering this one. Kramer was, but listen, you know where I'm going from the start. When I said perfect, I said the statue was perfect. You know where I'm going from the start. It's hands down A+ statue, season 2, Larry Charles, A+.
All right. Well,
top
thanks.
25 episode. Anyway, you slice it.
A+, season 2. There you go, folks. Tony, thank you. So, Chris, over to you. What's your grade and final thoughts here?
I tell you, folks, we've never heard Tony talk less about an episode, but he got right to the point. Perfection, A+, and he's out. But what's interesting, he made great points, and now he's swaying me a little bit. That when you go first, you do that. But I don't think I'm going to. I still may stay where I stay. Foundational. Foundational is important. But foundational doesn't make it an A+. So I just keep that in mind. I love the French toast scene. But then within that same scene, Jerry leaving and saying, I'm getting a facial. I thought that was like, the dinner for suckers. It was like ba-boom, ba-boom,
Dinner for
ba-boom.
Suckers is good. Dinner for Suckers is good.
But there's so many ups and downs, again, and you're going to throw foundation at me. It's fine. And even Kramer's breakout episode, but I'll give you a couple Kramer nitpicks. Him just sitting there, let's get him. Let's get him. I don't know. It was just a little, something was off. And then, I'm not happy about this. It was just some sort of flow. And I'm not blaming Charles for that. Maybe that's a Sharonis thing early on. It didn't have that. It didn't have the bitey flow that even the pen had in some of the season 2. So it's not a season 2 thing. I just think something was a little off. Inca Dink, the Inca Dink thing was interesting. He says, I saved you there, but I rewatched Inca Dink. He pointed to Kramer twice in a row. That's where Jerry screwed up. And again, this might be a Sharonis thing. And I love Sharonis. But look at me, get a little nitpicky here. But everything else, Pal, Rava, the K-Man scene you mentioned is probably his greatest of all time. Doesn't make it an A+ in my mind. Ray was great. The stand-up, guilt of having a maid, I thought was pretty solid in between. Not liking to watch. Jerry had a great episode. Him talking about the soap. And, he went under here. Very funny stuff. French toast, of course. again, I needed more George. Like Jerry, Kramer all time. Love Larry Charles, of course. But you know what, folks? I'm giving the statue a clean B. Not, I was close. Yeah, the Tony's shaking his head. Clean B for the statue.
Wow.
Yeah, because when I think A plus and plenty of hold on,
These are far cry.
plenty of Larry Charles's episodes are A plus. Don't get me wrong, but there's none of those dips that I mentioned. There's no wanting more from another character on A plus as Larry Charles. So that's my thought process of giving the grade. And obviously I'm sticking with it. So there you go. Your thoughts?
No sentimental value for you, huh? I too much sentimental value for me. Too much early Kramer for me. I didn't see that many dips. I mean, you're missing George. I could see. I thought it flowed great. But listen, I mean, B. I might be a little high. You might be a little low. Somewhere in the middle, maybe. But that's what we have producer here for.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I fall on Chris's side. I think this is more of a B episode. And again, for points that Chris brought up. And yes, there's a lot of great stuff in there, but the pacing and some of the jokes don't land as they would in later episodes. So that's why I think a B is more
Mr. Sentimentality. I think that's what we're getting at here.
So there you go, folks.
Yeah.
Listen, whether you agree with Tony or Chris, this is a great episode for season 2, and definitely, like you said, foundational for the Seinfeld, story, and it's definitely worth a check out. So we thank you for your ups and your downs, and hope that everybody tunes in for our next episode.